Welcome back to Casual Bias Rugby. Holy shit. What just happened, ladies and gentlemen? Ireland getting smacked by France. Surprise, surprise, England beats Italy. And then Wales, their own worst enemy. But the holy shit is mainly focused on Ireland versus France. And we're going to chat all about it. On my left, we've got, or is it on the right? I'm not even sure. This thing's inverted. We've got Aiden, who made the bold prediction that Ireland will place third in this year's Six Nations. And currently, they're sitting in third. Do we owe Aiden an apology? Aiden, what's up?
Hey, bro. How you doing? I'm doing brilliantly because I got a lot of smack for saying what I thought would happen. I felt like I gave decent reasons for it. Coming out of the Autumn Nations with not their best form. Obviously, no Andy Farrell as well. Rightly so. I got abused in all my comment sections, including this one. Fair enough. Predicting the back-to-back champions to come third is a wild take. But here we are. And assuming England don't be idiots and lose to Wales, then they will be third. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to predict the downfall of Ireland. I still think they'll be a top-tier rugby nation. They've got the best club program in the world, without a shadow of a doubt.
Don't lie. We heard what you said offline. We heard you shit talking Ireland. Don't start.
I'm not an Ireland hater, I promise. It's just nice to get a prediction right for once. So, look, we're going to give the credit to the French. Let's not dog the Irish. Let's just say how good the French were. They were exceptional in every aspect of the game.
We'll get to the game in a second, Aiden. Let's just greet the other people first.
I'm excited, man. Let's keep going.
Rose, welcome back. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling very pleased after a very pleasant weekend of rugby for England. But also there were two other very entertaining games. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about this evening. I'm good.
Yeah, so obviously the preview is a bit late, but we'll film tomorrow night as well. So then we have a video out for everyone on Thursday morning for the preview for next weekend. But Jake, you good?
I'm great, man. I was at the England-Italy game. Match day vlog on my channel. Go check it out.
Were you?
But yeah. Have you not checked out my vlog, Rose? This is some friend.
Oh, that's a shambles. Not supporting the fan forum.
No. I've just been busy.
No, fair enough. People, please do support the fan forum. Please go and watch Jake's vlog. Go find him on TikTok, YouTube. Jake's also moved over to the YouTube for the longer form content. So please do go. Remember to like and subscribe to all of these people's TikToks, YouTubes, whatever. We're not analysts. We are just some people talking absolute shit when it comes to rugby. And we hope you enjoy it. If it's not your taste, it's not your taste. Anyway, Ireland 27, France 42. And Jake, I'm coming straight back to you. Halftime score, 6-8. And I kind of watched that first 30 minutes, and it reeked of the England-France game. And it was like France were playing all the rugby. Ireland were playing all the rugby, right? This time France were kind of just on the defense. And then clinical France just came out and absolutely thrashed Ireland in that second half. Did you kind of analyze it like that?
No. I think Ireland had a very good first 15 minutes. No, they did. And France were put under a lot of pressure. And then eventually they go for a penalty and Prendergast missed. But sort of from 15 to 30, I thought France put them under some pressure themselves. And see that BRA try goes in. And then it all sort of, the whole rhythm of the game changed once Dupont goes off. And then, yeah, you're right. Second half, it just sort of blew them away. The yellow cards for Ireland definitely cost them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's no Irish boys on the pod today, but they were crazy about Angus Gardner this time around. Holy shit! Like I've never heard a Sapphire rant about a ref as much. Right?
I wouldn't go that far.
I know we do a lot.
I wouldn't go that far.
But the way that they did on that group chat was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
I would say Angus Gardner. I do not like Angus Gardner, but I think he got every big decision correct in that game.
Yep, I agree.
I did not watch that game and come away thinking this was a dodgy refereeing performance.
No.
Me neither. I mean, it was kind of that situation where it was like some of the 50-50 calls you might have said, okay, well, that went to France, right? But it was never a shaft job. I never looked at that game and thought, okay, well, Ireland's getting screwed over here at the moment or something like that. Unless I watch some different game than what my
No.
comment section on TikTok
No.
has been saying.
I think
I just don't think I've ever. I don't think the refereeing was poor. I've just never seen Ireland be so not clinical. Their attacking play is so highly structured that they usually capitalise when they enter a team's 22. Especially, they were there for a long time in the first half. They just couldn't capitalise. I mean, the French defence.
Oh, okay.
It's
Aiden,
gone.
there you go. What's yours?
Yeah, well, the thing I was going to say is with regards to refereeing, I think it's very easy for people to jump on and say it's bad when it goes against their team. Like, look, there were a lot of 50-50 calls in that situation, which means half the time people are going to be upset. One half of the fan base is going to be upset with the decision no matter what. It's not poor refereeing. It's a decision that can go either way that this time didn't go in your favor. I agree with what Jake said. I think he made 95% the right calls, maybe a few confusing ones here and there, but he explained his reasoning as to why he went with the decision he did. He spoke to both captains about why he did it. It was clear. You could hear it over the loudspeaker. So I thought his reasons were valid. In terms of winning that game, France, I actually thought they won the game in the first 15 minutes. Being able to
that defensive effort.
That defensive effort in the first 15 minutes, Ireland love getting into your 22. They love playing the territory game. And more often than not, they score points when they're in your 22. And the fact that France held them scoreless and then made a breakaway try that was disallowed, unfortunately, but then ultimately scored first regardless, really set the tone for the game for me. And I think Ireland were just never able to build the dominance of territory they usually do by visiting teams.
Did you think when Dan Sheehan went into the corner, did you think, okay, maybe that's the start to the second half that Ireland needed, that maybe that was the boost? Because, I mean, you look at that and it's like, okay, well, that's setting the tone coming out into the second half. And that kind of felt like the only thing that Ireland got from that second half. Because after that, it was kind of like a wake-up call to France to say, holy shit, let's kick into gear again.
I think it's because, obviously, Dupont went off injured at around 30 minutes, right? And for me, when I look at France play with Dupont and the team, as everyone will notice, France play from 9. Like, everything comes from 9. The calls are made, where they're going to play, going wide, going short balls, and they give Dupont all the options because he's so good. When Luku comes on, you expect him to fill that same role, but he doesn't. France play an almost entirely different game when Luku's on the field. They use Intermac a lot more. He comes in more as that distributor and setting the play, which he's really good at. He just doesn't need to do when he's playing outside Dupont. And so I think it just took them a little bit to adjust from that Dupont-centric play style into the way they ended up playing the game. And yeah, Sheehan went in and it looked like Ireland were getting the momentum. And then it sort of clicked for them that, okay, we're playing like this. That's fine. And really the big boys that came off the bench for France set up the perfect platform for those backs, who we all know are ridiculously good, to just run right through the wide channels. And I think that's where it sort of come undone for Ireland.
I mean, Jake, there's obviously the massive talking point of Dupont getting injured. But how good was Luku when he came on? I thought he was class, especially his clearances behind the ruck. Like, he just oozed a bit of confidence. Like, we've been talking for the past while about how good Nolan Legorek and stuff is. But if Luku pulls out performances like that, mature performances from a scrum off, kind of, even though they didn't play from the 9, he still looked like he had full control over what's happening right in front of him. That was a class performance from Luku, especially after kind of the scare of Dupont having to go off at about 30 minutes.
Yeah, and I can see you're doing your sort of Luku tribute act with that hat on. But yeah, I know he was fantastic, and I think Legorek and Serron get a lot of praise because honestly, just because I think that they look the part, kind of, and Luku maybe doesn't look quite the part of an exciting 9. If we're being honest, I do think that plays some role. Because he's been excellent for Bordeaux this year, and he's still been. People have been talking about Jalibert and Penaud and BLBRA, and not the effect Luku has on that team. Moefana, who's excellent in that game as well.
The depth that France have at 9 is insane. Yeah. And you just got to feel so bad for them having a Dupont-like figure there because they're just never going to be in the spotlight.
Well, now they have for at least 8 months.
Yeah.
I heard an interesting stat that when Luku plays, he's only ever lost one time in the France jersey in his 30-odd caps, which is pretty impressive. And, wow, you saw him come on and perform really well. So, I mean, credit to him. He's put his name up there as the next best 9 in France. And it'll be interesting to see who they bring in as the third 9 now. Probably Ligarek, but we all know Saron's been playing really well for Toulon as well. So,
yeah,
who knows?
I reckon they might just start with Ligarek and still have Luca on the bench.
Okay.
He's
But I think
certainly
you've
a
got,
reliable player to come on.
obviously, Dupont is injured, sadly, so he will miss the Champions Cup and top 14 stuff. But he'll also miss the Southern Hemisphere tour. So that is now the reason he can't play. He would have played and won all the games if it wasn't for his injury.
Right. Oh, and to be clear, that was not intentional, him getting his ACL done.
No.
I don't want people the Irish to think I'm just all on board with the French side. Clearly just a rugby incident. It was unfortunate. He got hit in the back by Porter and just sort of fell into him, and Dupont's leg was planted. Simply unfortunate. Nobody likes seeing players get injured, but it was not a cardable offence.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously, if we have to talk about Ireland a bit, I think there's one major talking point that I'll bring up in a second. But obviously, right before the game, losing someone like James Lowe, having the injuries already in that team. Jake, do you reckon it played a massive role in the way that they played with all of those injuries and stuff? Or do we kind of say, well, France had to deal with it last year and we didn't want to say stuff about the injuries? They have to deal with it this year. Injuries is part of the game.
We all said last year that France are missing likes of Dupont and I think Flamand was out and others. And this year, James Lowe is definitely a big miss because obviously it gives you another kicking option. You don't know who to run at. They're relying on Jamie Osborne with the left boot. He did quite well, but it's not a James Lowe boot. And definitely cost them.
Both France and Ireland had to deal with unexpected injury, and France were able to bounce back after losing Dupont. So I don't think it's an excuse whatsoever. They have enough depth to be able to cover those positions.
I would say, to be fair, I know Dupont's the best player in the world, but the drop to him to Luku and then low to what Nash can do is quite a bit more.
I don't know.
I agree with what you're saying, Jake. I think it's a big loss. More, not just the boot ability, but his ability to beat defenders one-on-one, I think is huge. In terms of the boot ability, though, I don't think that was the bit that they missed most because, as I said, in that first 40 especially, Ireland played with all the possession and all the territory.
But Lowe finds himself in the midfield so many times as well, right? Like, he's almost a creative outlet as well. Like, he's not your out-and-out winger necessarily, where Nash is literally just a wing.
Yeah, I think where they missed him wasn't on his clearing. It wasn't on his boot, which is so reliable. It was what he's able to bring into the attack and make the defender question the one-on-one, and maybe someone else has to come in and cover, and that creates space. But again,
do you guys
wouldn't have changed the result. No chance.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask. Do you think it would have changed the result? Because I don't. I think
I don't think so.
I was actually going to say it's defence which they missed because he's crucial in defence quite often, and it's actually Calvin Nash who does get the yellow card for a high tackle in defence, and that loses Ireland 2 tries and fucking fucked England over as well. So thanks, Calvin Nash.
Right.
Oh wow. Yeah. Well, obviously that's put Ireland now in third, France leading race, England actually in second.
Can I ask a question?
I think it was Rose that actually brought it up a good few weeks ago, that how vital is those 2 consolation tries that England got in the end to give them that 1 point.
No, it would be incredible.
The final thing that I want to ask on, or want to say on the Ireland thing, is I've seen Sam Prendergast get a lot of heat in the comment sections and stuff. And I'm just of the opinion, this was the game that he should have played. Right, like I know he's young, I know he's missed tackles and stuff. You don't build up this young talent to just drop him for the biggest game. Like that would be craziness. That's kind of why you've been playing him this whole time. And obviously he's young, he's inexperienced, he's going to miss kicks, he's going to miss tackles. I mean, the guy's still built like a twig. Like how old is he? 21, 22?
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously he'll still put on size and stuff, and he'll learn as he goes. But he's not going to learn how to play the big games if he doesn't play the big game. So I have no problem with him being in that 10 jersey. I understand the shouts of Crowley, who's been there and done it before. But at some point, you gotta see the vision, and you have to trust that vision. You have to trust that those players going into the games, because other than this game, he was pretty fine in my opinion. He didn't deserve to get dropped whatsoever.
I think the outrage from the more sensible of the fans, the ones that aren't just hating on Prendergast because he's not from Munster or Connacht or whatever.
You're saying there's sensible Irish fans?
I am saying there are sensible ones. And I think the position that most people would look at it, if you're an Ireland fan, is that you've got two really good 10s, both Prendergast and Crowley, exceptional 10s. And yeah, I understand. Give Prendergast that time in the boot. Give him the time in the saddle to play these tough teams. But you got to also give the guy that's competing with him a chance as well. Because I think when you have two talents, you got to pit them against each other, make them perform better to make the other one perform better. And when you give all the reins to one person, it doesn't really matter what the other person does. And sort of the first person can get a bit complacent because, I've got the 10 jersey. Whereas I think Crowley should have started in the game against like an England or even a Wales or a Scotland, and then still had Prendergast start in these big matches. But you got to give them both time in the boot to let them compete against each other so that the 10 jersey, the person who ends up in it is going to be the best player, regardless of the options they have.
Yeah, Aiden's cooking at the moment. And it shows that he's been cooking actually for a while because everything's coming true at the moment.
Why did Bundyaki come off? Because that just seemed like an insane substitution if it's not an injury.
Bro, he had a bit of a stinker, to be fair, as well. I did not see Bundyaki in that game.
Because he came off after 50 minutes.
Yeah, but was he playing well? Like, did you see him do anything really?
Well, they were doing okay. I just thought it's a crazy thing. Crowley isn't a centre, and I think we also saw how much it cost them losing Ringrose the round before, and not having him or Henshaw on the bench.
Yeah, well, Ireland has cost me a lot in terms of my prediction for them to win the Six Nations, for Gibson Park to win World Player of the Year, because it's going to be tough if he doesn't even win the Six Nations. So,
yeah,
who it's going to be?
Sorry?
I was like, who's going to win World Player of the Year?
He'll be all right.
BETWAY.
Tom Curry, World Player of the Year.
I was just going to ask a question.
You think he's up there at the moment with the way that he's playing?
While we're still on the topic of Ireland versus France, very quickly, do we think BLBRA is getting player of the tournament?
Yeah,
he's up there. He's up there for a shout. Tom Curry really is up there for a shout. He's been sensational. Tommy Freeman, even like on the wing,
he's scored. He scored a try in every single game he's played.
Yeah, Gregory Aldry.
Yeah, I would still Jack Morgan.
I would still put in. I would still have Gibson Park there because he still won 3 out of 4 man of the match performances, except for that charity case that they gave Sam Prendergast one time because he got the week before that. So Gibson Park still up there. I mean, one loss is not going to take away from that. Because did we look at that game and say, "Oh, Gibson Park's been schooled"? No.
He had a good game, I thought. A decent game.
Yeah, he had a decent game. I feel like a lot of people said he had a shit game because he didn't score very highly in fantasy, but sometimes fantasy does, he was managing the game well. He was quick to the ball. Sometimes fantasy just doesn't reflect those kind of things, but he wasn't bad by any means.
Yeah. Okay. Let's actually move on to.
Wait. Can I just say, were any other key French players? I thought Jegu.
Yeah.
Lucy playing centre and playing really well.
And I thought the prop, John Baptiste Gross, was incredible as well. Like any of them casual, or you just want to move on?
No, I fully agree with you.
Mal Farn is also a brilliant player, and I think he's been playing very well this Six Nations.
Yeah. Anyway,
just the whole French team.
Yeah, it was a very good and clinical performance from them. Like everyone put up their hand and put in a proper shift when it comes down to it. Like Tom Ramos once again. Like he's not the most flashy guy in the world, but he just does everything great.
Yeah.
Just totally controls the game from that fullback position.
I didn't think Peno had his best game, actually. I know he scored a try late on, but I feel like he wasn't as involved as he usually is.
He also set up the LBRA.
That's true. Fair enough.
Okay, Scotland versus Wales. I called the upset victory. It did not plan out. Listen, Wales might be their own worst enemy. I felt like they just butchered it themselves in that first half. You look at the way that they played in the second half and the fighting spirit that they showed, If they could have shown that for 80 minutes, even 60 minutes, they could have won that game. But just fucking about there at the back, and I don't even know how to explain it. But they could have won this game.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's a level of, just fuck around and find out. Like they got to try stuff, right? Because they're in a position where it doesn't get worse, right? They cannot get worse. They're on 17 or whatever it is now, straight losses. They're going to break the record if they don't beat England. It will be the most ever of a Six Nations team. So I'm all for fucking trying stupid shit and hoping it works because they have some serious talent. And yeah, that Ben Thomas drop was dreadful. He kicked it too hard to Blair Murray, who done really well to keep it in, and basically gave him a sitting catch, which he fumbled, and then obviously Tom Jordan went in, which was great for my fantasy, but terrible for Wales.
Did you have Tom Jordan?
Yeah, because I'm smart.
What a
Jake
shout.
was elite. Jake decided to captain King Orn.
Yeah, Jake just wants you to know, and the rest of the world to know, that he was 7th in the world for that round of Six Nations.
That is crazy, Jake. That is crazy.
Yeah, even a blind squirrel finds a nut, I suppose.
Exactly, because who sits there and looks at this game and thinks, I'm going to captain Blair King Orn?
I removed him as captain 5 minutes before that game started and changed it to Van der Merwe. I was so frustrated. A lot of my league, a different league I'm in though, had King Horn captained. I don't think it's a very out there shout.
He does not score that many points. Like,
He is always getting stuck in. He's all over the park. Always, he scores points. I've had him on my team a couple of times. It was a good shout.
Compared to Van der Merwe and
no, I'm pretty sure he scored more than Van der Merwe last week.
Okay.
We weren't playing England here. You don't pick Van der Merwe.
Yeah, exactly. He's like prime Lomu against England, and then when he's not playing, he's just like someone from your NPC team.
Jake, what was your thoughts on that Welsh-Scottish game?
Diabolical. I mean, was it 28-10 or something at halftime? I don't know. Wales was just so poor in the first half defensively. Like compared to what they were the week before, the drop-off was insane. And I think Scotland just switched off in the second half more than Wales being excellent, to be honest.
Yeah, so it's kind of that thing, Aidan, we spoke about it, and we said, listen, we hope it's not a once-off performance from Wales, where it's like they get stuck in for one game, balls to the wall against Ireland, and then drop off. And after that first half, I was like, this couldn't have gone any more wrong. Like, this was a valid opportunity for them to actually go put in a solid performance. And obviously, they showed some heart and fighting spirit in the second half. But I think Scotland kind of already felt that job's done, right? So they don't need to show that fight anymore. It's tough because I want Wales to finally win a game. Like, it just feels a bit sad. I feel like I'm a Welsh fan now. It's crazy.
Hold on. Where is
I think we all are.
Oh my God, he's going to get it out again.
I am a Welsh fan.
Where is that from, Aidan?
I went to the Rugby World Cup warm-up in Principality when they beat England. I was there when I've seen a Wales win. How rare is that? Live. I've been to a Wales win.
How long ago was that?
2023 World Cup warm-up.
That's probably their final win.
No, they won in the World Cup a few times.
Yeah, of course. But that was all in 2023.
Yeah.
Queensland Reds, B team. Come on.
I think also there's got to be worrying signs for Scotland too, because, these are the games that if they want to be a competing side in the Six Nations and not be fourth every year, these are games they've got to lock away convincingly. And we've talked about it a bit, how long Gregor Townsend's going to be there, because he's been there since 2017, and other than beating England a few times, there's probably not that much to show for it compared to his predecessor. I just think that you can't afford to switch off on games like that. And you notice it against the bigger teams. Like there was big talk of them beating Ireland this year at home at Murrayfield. And it went down the drain pretty quick in that game. So there's got to be changes made. I think the players are good enough. You see them in club level in Glasgow and whatnot, and they're performing really well. Obviously, Blair Kinghorn's at Toulouse. He's playing really well. So they've got the talent. It's just a change needs to be made because it's not working.
I think that back line is unbelievable. The fact that they're not winning more convincingly, winning more games. I mean, you look at it and you think these are like players who are top of the ranking in their position in the world. It blows my mind. And they have very solid forwards as well, but particularly their back line is crazy. Sorry, carry on.
No, it's totally fair. And but the thing is, like, it's kind of tough for me to see where Scotland needs to fix up, because I can just see I don't know. When you look at a Scottish performance, where do you think they need to be better? Is it an attitude thing? Because it's not a talent thing. They've got the talent.
I think it reminded me
Are
a
they
lot
trying
of
to play too sexy rugby and not being clinical enough? What is going on?
I think obviously losing Tui Pelotu is kind of a big blow just because of his prominence in that back line.
Yeah, but they still placed fourth with him the previous years.
No, I recognise it. Okay, fair enough. But this Six Nations, they reminded me of England a lot in the way they've been switching off, which England have kind of stopped doing, but did for the entirety of 2020. Yeah, thank you, Aidan. But no, I don't know. It's a weird one. It is a weird one.
I think they lack a lot of muscle in the forwards. You go up against like South Africa, even the English and French packs are very big. I don't think they have the pure size.
Yeah, I noticed that watching the scrum weight thing they bring up and like the first scrums. A lot of the packs have slimmed down in size, except for France. They're massive. I was looking. I think the Irish pack was like 880 kilos. The Scot one was like 870, which is even lighter. The French pack is like 940 or something ridiculous. It's massive. I was thinking the South African pack's just over 900 as well. And when you can bring on your reserves who can play 40 minutes and they're just as big, you get such an advantage in that power game. I think France used it really well, and I think teams like South Africa use it really well. So maybe that is something Scotland need to look into, just increasing the size of some of their players.
He's trying to stay humble by not saying the All Blacks front row is massive as well, and the guys that they bring from the bench. Because, I mean, Tamati Williams, Ethan de Groot, and Tara Lomax are all big pieces of meat, right? Like, those are big boys.
Cody Taylor. Add Pasaleo Tosi in there as well. He's another 40-kilo specimen.
But it is an advantage. That's the way the game's going. It's a power game in the forwards. And the French use their 7-1 split, you know, the frog squad, as some people are calling it. It works. They brought on some absolute units, and they demolished.
Finally, we can see this happening again, where we don't need props that can step and offload and whatever. You need props that can scrum and do the job at the breakdown. And that's what works. That's what the winning teams have. I don't need my prop to be Cheslin Colby. You can chill and be Frans Malherbe and eat some braai.
Speaking of Cheslin Colby, the prop, Will Stewart, what a step.
Oh my God, so good.
This is why he's saying it. He's saying it just because of this step.
That was vintage. Oh, mate, I thought I was watching prime Nehi Milner Scudder with that step.
Yeah.
The way he drew him in and then boom, off the outside foot.
Aidan, you just segued this beautifully into Will Stewart. So let's actually talk about England, right? Because Italy, Ange Capuozzo had a good game. Other than that, probably just like English dominance. Tom Curry, holy shit.
Manitello had a good game.
Vincent, however you say his name, he was good too.
But let's not beat around the bush. This was an England game. I mean, they lost probably their best player in Ollie Lawrence, and still played class, right? Marcus Smith, lovely little triple captain there from the bench, super sub. Don't mind if I do. But other than that, just good few players pitched up, got the job done, got your 5 points, and you kind of just did what I asked of them to do. Finally, just play some rugby, play some attacking, running rugby. Enough of this bullshit.
So nice to see. It was so nice to see.
Who knew that if you hold on to the ball, you can attack? If you play with possession, you can do some fun stuff and use your exciting attacking threats like your Finn Smiths, like your Marcus Smiths, like
Can
your
I just say, sorry, no, I completely agree with you. It was just really nice to watch. I enjoyed watching England. You know how rare that is. It's happened.
Yeah, don't get too used to it because you'll be stinking it out against Wales next week again.
Let's not. And that's for a different video, but let's not be silly.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to knock. England versus Wales. I'm not saying Wales is going to win. I'm just saying
Oh, okay.
the way that Borthwick does it, he's going to play one game of sexy rugby, and then he's going to go straight back to park the bus
Box
rugby.
kick.
Okay.
Yep, there you go, making it ugly. You can't pull up a nice performance against Wales and trust Wales will be up for that game.
No, I know Wales will be up for that game. I live near so many Welsh fans. Giving it this, I can't be bothered. Anyway, can we just talk about Finn Smith for a second? Because I'm literally in love with that man's foot. That sounds so weird. Like his boots. His boot is kicking on. You guys don't make it weird. You know what I meant. I was talking about his kicking ability.
She just admitted on camera she's got a little foot fetish.
No, I don't have a foot fetish. I meant I'm in love with his boot, okay? Aiden, get it away. His What just happened?
Nothing.
Did I do something wrong?
No, Jake just showed his bare feet on camera and realised it's circle.
Jake, did you? That's disgusting.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Keep going.
I just think he's amazing. I think having him and Smith on the field is just such an advantage. I know we were sceptical about it, but having him at 10, his reliability, his kicking, and having the creativity at the back, I love it. Although I was sad to see Ollie Lawrence go. Also, I thought Dingwall had a good game. I thought he was solid, reliable, better than Slade's been, less reliability in defence. I thought he was good.
Rose, you beat Italy. This is not, you're not in dreamland. Like the way that you're talking about it.
Why? Stop it. Thank you.
I'm just saying, like the way that you're talking about it is like you just beat France. Well, you did beat France.
Oh, we did beat France, actually.
Yeah, and you had to go at us.
I thought in terms of actual like the way.
No, I get it. I get it. It was another good.
Looking
it was
long
another
term,
good.
it was a positive performance. I was happy and I'm optimistic. Sorry.
Do you reckon you'll see it next week again?
Pardon?
Do you reckon you see it next week again?
See another win?
That's on tomorrow's video.
Attacking running rugby performance, like a sexy performance.
I hope so, but you are right. Wales will make it ugly. But I really hope so. We need to get those 5 points locked in so we can finish above Ireland at least.
Jake, what's your takeaways from this weekend?
From this weekend or just this game?
This game.
Okay, well, I literally watched this game an hour ago. I finished watching it, so it's all fresh in my memory. No, because I was at the game. I was at the stadium, match day vlog. But you don't actually see it all, so I've had to rewatch it. But, you know, I think the worst thing for Italy, look, I think they got out-muscled by England's forwards, who all played very well. But Garbisi, I like Garbisi. He had a shocker. He had an absolute shocker. He kept kicking things, dropping things, missing tackles. He was terrible. And then Brexham and Ancello, though, like on the outside, are fantastic. So, you know, Finn Smith was great. Garbisi was bad. Might be the main difference, just getting around the park. And then, I think it got out-muscled. The English forwards, again, very good. Chesson man of the match, don't know why, but there you go. Tom Curry.
No, Chesson was brilliant.
He was good, but he wasn't the best. Elliot Daly, man, he played 15, then 13. And I've been saying it, he's the ideal person to have because he covers so many positions, and he was fantastic.
Yeah, but I'd rather have someone like Freeman who can also cover different positions and bring in someone other than Daly. But that's a conversation for a different.
Well, I actually heard that they're looking into playing Tommy Freeman at 13 because of the Saints thing. Jake, I know you covered a video on TikTok regarding this. Do you kind of just want to give us a summary of what your thoughts are on Freeman potentially moving to 13 and that connection that they can have with the Saints backline?
But I mean, it depends on if Dingwall's at 12, I guess. But I don't know. Like, Freeman's not been playing 13 for Northampton this year. Last year he played a bit more there, but this year he's always been at 14 pretty much. I mean, you could see the thing where you have a whole Northampton backline, really. If you had, like, you know, Mitchell, Smith, Dingwall, Freeman, Hendy, Furbank, Sligo. You could have all of them. But, I don't know. I think Freeman's better at 14, personally.
I mean, it could be an interesting shout, right? Because at the moment, Ollie Lawrence probably has that 12 or 13 jersey on lockdown. If Freeman puts in a shift at 13, that opens up space for Faye Webosa to just come back in, right? Because Ollie Slido's been great on the wing. Freeman's been great on the wing. If you can add Webosa to that as well, I think all three of them are solid in defense. just opens up another space for Freeman to stay in the team instead of one of them kind of having to move out for Favourable, who I think is the best of the lot, and then still keeping on with touch and go centre pairings. I just think while you've got your first choice, Ollie Lawrence out now injured, and you've got Henry Slade that's not currently on form.
I know, but listen,
with it a bit.
I think you're playing too many people out of their preferred position there, because you're playing Freeman away from 14, you're playing Lawrence away from 13, which like a smaller gap, but he does prefer playing on the outside. I watched an interview.
No, but he's injured. That's what I'm talking about.
I know, but I'm just talking long term. I think if you have someone like Freeman, I can see Favourable coming back in and Freeman going to the bench.
Because a wing on the bench.
Listen, because he can cover multiple, but he's like a daily figure to have on the bench.
Freeman only covers 14.
Who would you start on the other wing? Slightholme over Freeman?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I'd prefer to have all of them somewhere knocking around, and I wouldn't bring Slightholme off the bench.
Yeah, so we put Daly. And he covers
no,
15,
I don't want Daly there. I just want Favourable Freeman and Slightholme.
He's been brilliant though.
How can you watch that Elliot Daly performance and not want him involved?
I think I want to be building for 2027, and he's not the answer.
Oh.
Because he's 32.
So is half the South African team. They're going to be there in 2027.
He's not going to be there in 2027. Joe Carpenter is a future. Watch his space. Or Furbank. I'm. Jake looks so annoyed. No, Jake, I thought he had a good game, but
he'd be a bench player. It's brilliant. Daly's brilliant off the bench. We do it with Bowden Barrett, and nobody's.
Daly against who was it against? Was it against Scotland or France? Came off the bench. We had spent a lot of time regaining possession of the ball, and what does he do? Kick it away straight out.
I scored a match-winning try. That's what he did.
No, it wasn't against France. It was against Scotland. He fucks up. Like, I like him.
This is ageism.
He's not a perfect player who
It is. She also.
You're being biased.
Yeah.
Now, Jake, I actually tend to agree with Rose a bit on this one, right? Because Daly has not been good for England. He's had a good game now, for instance. But you're talking about that France try that he scored. Bro, he got put into a gap and he just ran.
No, he did run a good line. He did run a good line because he was like...
Exactly. He played for England for years and he was stinking it out a bit. Right?
No, that's not true. He was amazing for England a few years ago.
No, not from what I saw. But I can agree that like he's probably part of the leadership group and he has got that experience and stuff. I don't mind him playing off the bench, but if you have the opportunity for younger guys, that's utility backs and stuff, to play off the bench, I would take that all day long because they can give you more years. They can probably end up being better than Daly would be off the bench because you need to give them that experience.
That's why you start them.
But if you don't want to play them out of position, that's what I'm talking about. Like Rose's whole thing was that she didn't want to play Freeman out of position into that 13 jersey. So she would rather have him on the bench. But I'm not a fan of a wing on the
that's
bench.
not it. That's not what I meant at all. I would like to have Freeman starting, but I was talking about potentially when Woboso's back, how are we going to navigate this? How are we going to get him, Slightholme, and Freeman all in the team? Maybe you put Freeman on the bench because he can cover multiple positions. That was my point.
That's exactly what I just said.
You just drop Slightholme. Yeah, I agree. You drop Slightholme. Freeman and Woboso.
Okay, fair enough. But that was my point. I do like Freeman, and I was not trying to be like, oh, he should be on the bench.
Why would you drop Slightholme? He's been great for England.
Well, that's what I mean.
But I'm asking with you, Aiden.
Because he's not as good as Woboso or Freeman.
He wasn't fantastic against Scotland. I don't think he was fantastic yesterday. He had a good second half, but first half he was quiet.
He runs decent lines. I think he can put himself in space to score tries. He does it a lot at Northampton. You know, he's great on the attack. I don't think he offers as much as either of the other two wingers defensively or positionally in the backfield.
No, but my point was never to play Slightholme over them on the wing. My point was purely based on whilst you have one of your centres out, right, and you want to try Freeman there, then you can just keep the other two wingers.
It was kind of...
Yeah.
Now we were having a bit of a different debate.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But if you do have all your players fit and you're going, England want to go for a 6-2 because they're playing against France or South Africa, I think Elliot Daly has to be in the squad because he can cover about 5 or 6.
It's such a tricky one though. Or Marcus Smith, though. I would prefer to have Marcus Smith and then someone like Freeman
I
on
want
the
my fullback
pitch.
to tackle.
And then between them, they can all cover different positions.
Yeah, where would you actually play Marcus Smith then if you went with a 6-2 split, Jake?
Number 24. I don't know. Like, you know,
I disagree.
Jake, don't be silly.
I think if you start playing more attacking rugby like you have been, he deserves another shot back at 10.
Yeah.
All day. I don't
Because-
care how good
This whole
Finn Smith has been.
argument that Finn Smith is clearly better because we've won 2 games with him at 10. It's like England are a different team. Tactically, the way they've played when Finn Smith has been at 10, it is not a fair comparison to say Finn Smith is just better because they've won games.
No, 100% not. And Marcus Smith in recent months has been brilliant for England. And I hope they don't just railroad him.
Again, another example of, like Ireland having Crowley and Prendergast, Finn Smith and Marcus Smith should just fight for the 10 jersey. Don't play them out of position or any of that nonsense.
No, but it did work well.
Well, no, it's just Lord Furbank is out injured right now.
Yeah, that's what I said. Everyone's
he will take his rightful position.
I think there is some sense in, if you're going to play one from the bench, there is a bit of sense in having it be Smith because he can also cover 15. Sorry, Marcus Smith. I forgot they both have the same last.
I'd rather start Marcus Smith, have Finn Smith on the bench, and then if you really want to, you can just
move him back. Yeah, that's
I still believe Marcus Smith is a better 10 than Finn Smith. Not that Finn's bad at all, but if you look at the performances that Marcus put up while England were playing shit, and still he just stood out like man of the match contender in every single losing cause. Sensational.
You have seen some argument. I don't necessarily agree with this, but there have been, like, devil's advocate here, there have been people who have said that he does shine during English performances because he's a little bit of a selfish player and doesn't necessarily read the game as well as other 10s can. I'm not saying that that's true or not, but I've seen those comments be made.
No, what about George Ford?
George Ford he's done. But I like having him in the camp because he's a very good leadership figure. And I think he will be a brilliant coach one day.
Or we just bring Owen Farrell back. So
no, Jamie, put that idea in Jake's head.
Oh my word, the epitome of stinker out rugby as soon as Farrell comes back. You lose all your.
No, don't be horrible. He's sweet, but just not for England.
Sweet.
But Owen Farrell.
What?
Yeah. Why wouldn't he be sweet?
He's not a sweet guy.
He is a sweet guy.
Player.
Have you heard his interviews? No, he just sometimes forgets what his arms are and how to use them. But apart from that, he seems like a nice guy. However, not for England, of course.
Yeah, okay. Does anyone want to add anything, or do we just wrap up this little chaotic piece of shit that we just put out?
Yeah, I need to go.
Can I say something really quick? I learned a fun rugby fact this week.
Oh, God.
Do you want to hear it? It's actually really obvious, and all my rugby friends knew this, but I learned the origin of the word try, which everybody probably knows, but I didn't know it.
What, the 3 points thing?
Well, that's in grounding a ball over the try line used to not be any points, but it enabled you to try and kick for posts, which I didn't know. Which is that my terrible rugby knowledge? I thought that was sick.
Should we fact check that?
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
See, he didn't. CasualBiasRugby didn't know either. That makes me feel better. It's actually true.
Wait till you figure out why it was called first 5'8" and second 5'8", because it just turns into complicated math as to why they were called those positions. It's really bizarre.
There's no one else uses them. Anyway.
Okay, we are straying all over the place. Anyway, people, please do remember to hit that like and subscribe button. We do appreciate you guys. Go and support Aiden, Rose, and Jake on all other platforms. Sorry for the chaos, but anyway, bye.
No, bye.
I'll keep that in.